Welcome everyone, my name is Ryan and we are back with more vintage story today. This is the Hardcore Vegetarian Challenge, and as you can see just behind me there, I've got some porridge cooking up. I've been boiling water, but we're still here at our original home. Don't worry though, don't worry. It is pretty late at night and I'm gonna sleep. First thing in the morning we are setting sail to check out new lands, explore new areas, and hopefully find a really nice place to settle down and start a permanent base. So if you are new to the series, I've got a playlist link down in the description for you so you can get all caught up with everything, but I've got my mod list down there as well, and I'm trying out a few new mods, at least new to myself, such as the hydrate or dihydrate, which I'm actually really enjoying. This is, it just adds another layer of survival. It's not a super hard challenge, but I do look forward to getting into the drinks and stuff, and actually having more of a use for fruit juice. I think that'll be a lot of fun to start brewing, and I believe even alcohol can help with our hydration. But let's not focus too much on that just yet. Like I said, we've got a big day ahead of us tomorrow, so close the place up. All we've got is our little primitive chimney here, but we should stay nice and warm. Of course, we're in the tropics, obviously, but let's see. I'm going to, boil up one last jug, and that will give us 4 full jugs, which I realize I'm probably going to have to stop quite often to do this, but maybe my first stop, I'll go ahead and make some extra jugs too, because I'm bringing a lot of the clay with us that we've got. Oh, and a couple of things too, I should note. I almost forgot about my berry bushes. You can't really see them, but I did delete them. Well, I didn't delete them. I picked them up, and they're in the boat now. But also, someone mentioned the elephant carcass that we stumbled across that was just appeared to be bones. All I had to do was right-click and crouch, and I was able to harvest it. So it just gave me a few bones and some meat, though unfortunately still no skins from it. So it's unfortunate, but yeah, big shout out to the commenters, everybody out there who helps out or just leaves a supportive comment. It's great. And of course, like I said, we've got a big day, so make sure I don't forget my cooking pot. We'll take that. I'm going to just stack the wood here. We'll leave it, and I've also got plenty of firewood on the boat, but I think we're fully prepared now. Yeah, a couple of crock pots with the porridge. That's just the extra grain we'll put back. Okay, whoops, we're gonna sleep, and at first light, we're setting sail. Here we go. Good morning, everybody. It's a rainy day, but that's not gonna matter once we get out there on the ocean. Oh yeah, let's do it. It's been a while since I've done some serious sailing in this game, other than just rafting around, but now that we've got the boat successfully launched in the water, should we take our raft with us too, actually? I think it's not a bad idea because it can be used to maybe explore some of the awkward places. There we go. And wait a second, I think I want to crouch. There it is. Yeah. It's good to have it, so if we need to get out of our boat, but there's like smaller channels and stuff that could be quicker for us than overland travel, having the raft will be nice. All right, there we go. I think I'm in the right spot. Yep, we can maneuver. I always like to go into my full third person. Sometimes, whoopsie, hold on a second. Yeah, okay, I was going to say sometimes I like to pull out even a little bit with the plus and minus buttons. There we go. So let's set off the coast here. Wait, I need to drop. How do we drop this here? I need to actually set my sails. Oh yeah, it has been a while. Hold on, maybe if I do go into third person, that'll help. See, there it is. Shift to attach. Oh, okay, just right click to unfurl. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the mechanics have definitely changed. Used to be different, but well, I can still steer it, and now we can go back into our third person. This is great. Okay, let's take a quick look at the map. Where are we headed? Currently going south. Boy, I talked about doing like a canal here. Of course, I never really did that, but that would be handy now, because I kind of want to head over to this area. But yeah, we'll just hit the southern coast, go around the horn, as they say, of our southern tip. And yeah, we'll make our way north after that. I don't know, I guess we could go south. There's no reason not to push farther south. We'll see what's along this edge. Perhaps that's a good idea. We'll make a long parabola instead of a straight line, and maybe we'll swing around, or if there's something interesting down here, we'll deviate and take a look at it. Alright, well, we've made it to kind of the designated spot I was talking about. Turns out there's nothing but ocean down here. Also, I realized I can unfurl the sails even further, so I had them at only half mast. I'm not sure what the proper term is, but there we go. So we stop like that, like this, and then full speed. I also was looking in controls, and it doesn't appear that there's any option for a hotkey for that particular thing. I guess it's meant for us just to interact with the sailboat itself, but hey, who knows, maybe somebody could add a real simple mod which just, adds in a hotkey possibility. I don't know, it's not a big deal. It's just when you are a third person like this, it's kind of awkward to try and get that thing selected properly. See what I mean? But it's doable right there if I kind of look at it and then turn. I don't know. Either way, not a big deal, but it's certainly more realistic this way. Yeah, there's just not much down here. I kind of missed my turn off because I was going to go this way, but I mean, obviously we just turned. I think maybe I'll continue south though, see if this truly cuts off, and we'll just see what's down here. It occurred to me, maybe it's better, since we want to stay in the tropics, to just go in a south direction, a southerly direction, instead of like turning northward and coming up here, It's intriguing because there's little pieces of land, but I'm sure there's going to be land down here. And again, if anybody's wondering, well, actually, I've forgotten what I set the world to. I think it's less than 50-50. I think it was 30% land, 70 water. I have to go back and watch that first episode. It's been a while since we've had this series start, which is good, It's been a bit less challenging, but not to worry. That just means my next challenge series, I'm going to have to beef it up and really go all out. There is one particular couple of mods actually attached to each other, the Art of Growing, which I think I maybe have mentioned it, but it basically just adds generations to the plants that you grow. So you'll find like a wild variety which won't produce much other than seeds, and you've got to slowly continue to cultivate until you get up to better like actual producers, and then you can get like larger plants and veggies. So it kind of turns, the whole growing system more into similar to how the animal system is with its generations and stuff. But the Art of Growing, still not fully updated, and unfortunately, as I understand it, the mod author is having some health issues, which speedy recovery to them, hopefully. But I look forward to trying that out. It's one that I've never actually played with, but it was brought to my attention by a chatter out there, and okay, here we go. Yeah, something to look forward to. That's what's been great about the mods, Who knows what the next really, really amazing mod that you won't be able to live without, when that comes. So, looks like we've got some land dead ahead. Can't see much yet, but might just be a tiny little island. Although even those are worth stopping, perchance, just to take, prospecting pick reading. And we're pretty low on our durability, but don't worry, I do have one somewhere in here. Yeah, I brought all the tools. We should be okay. So let's set foot here. Yeah, on what appears to be a fairly small island, and we'll just take a look at what it has to offer. Oh my gosh, we just left our home, but already it feels a little bit creepy and dangerous to get back onto the dry land. Especially in areas that we've never visited. Who knows what kind of cats or other creatures could spawn. Of course, no dinos, but the Stone Age mods are present. Not every one of them, but the big cats, like I said, are in the world. So let's be careful. We're also looking for limestone and a site. That's not really helpful to us, but You know, we got to just check everything out. I don't see a lot of exposed rock here. No cave systems even. Usually the caves are little white marks. But either way, maybe we can also spot like a little copper or something. That would be worth marking. Ooh, hello. Definitely take some bones. Yeah, and with these hyenas, we could get lucky and find a carcass, but now that's one thing I don't think I took was any of the cactus seeds, but like I said, we're going to stick to the tropics on our little adventure, so we'll probably have the opportunity to get some down the road. In other words, I won't spend time right now collecting saguaro seeds. Alright, this is as good a spot as any. Could go maybe a little bit more centralized, but yeah, we're just going to have to dig down and take a long-range sample, see what we get. Quite honestly, doing it in the soil would be preferable, I think, to the sand. Yeah, that way I don't have to worry about it falling on my head. Alright, good news is I didn't have to dig down too far. Oh, wow. Poor sapphirite and bismuthite. Yuck. Yeah, that's not a good reading at all. Oh, crap, where did I leave my boat? Oh, yeah, I've got to remember. That's something that's going to be critical. There it is. Make sure to mark it on the map whenever I explore. This was a small island, so it wasn't such a big deal, but yeah, that could be a major issue in the future. Okay, so I'll just have to remember that, but yeah, not much to see. It does start to appear like this island ends here. So that's interesting. Ooh, got something to the south. Now that's the cave right there. Alright, yeah, like I said, let's change direction. Hello, fish. It's so cool to see stuff in the water, even if it's just a small fish. Who knows, maybe we'll get lucky and see some dolphins or manatee, though, too. Those are in the world, but fairly rare. I've seen turtles, and I've seen dolphins, but in a multiplayer server before. Not yet in this world. But this appears to be a jungle. Ooh. Maybe there's some savanna on this side of it. Oh, bit of a coral reef below. This might be one... Oh, I better take a drink of some water here. There we go. We've got 1 liter of boiled here, and these 3 are all full. Of course, our food's doing good. We won't expend a lot of calories just sitting in the boat. In my experience with the sailing in this game, yeah, you can go pretty far without the need for a lot of calories. The water's different, though. And that is something we're definitely going to have to keep up with. Boy, oh boy, I almost regret, like, maybe I should have taken one of those barrels that I had, filled it with, like, just dirty water, natural water, carried it on my back, and then I could have set it down and refilled and boiled it as needed, but I didn't really think about it. Yeah, this is more savanna-like over here on this side, and less jungly, but it's kind of nice having such close access on a single island, not gonna lie. That's most likely a lychee tree, if I had to guess, maybe pomegranate or something. I don't believe that was breadfruit. You know, that's another thing, too. We will probably return to our original island at some point in a season or two, just to get those breadfruit trees cut down. I mean, I'll probably leave the stumps so they'll continue to grow back, but yeah, we're going to need to get as many of those as we can. I currently only have 4 with me on the boat, but breadfruit, again, if you're not aware, has the highest fruit satiety of any fruit type in the game, at least currently as of the state of the build now. You know, things are always subject to change, and of course that's just vanilla. If you're playing with mods, things might be different too. Just a quick check-in. I've been sailing southward now for several in-game hours. Only came across this little guy. Stopped, took a sample. Chromite and magnetite, just not very good. Although, I honestly don't know. That chromite reading might be fairly decent for what you normally come across, but we don't need any now. As I've addressed previously, chromite is useful for the in-game backpacks, but yeah, you know, another thing, I want to see these patches of blue and then green water. I'm pretty sure if you get like some land to spawn in the blue, then the water that's on that land will be of the same deep blue color. And that kind of made me think, oh, I want to settle in one of these spots that maybe has an island, you know, in the blue water. We'll have to test that. I'm pretty sure I've seen it before. But either way, like I said, just a brief check-in. I think I'm going to sail through the night because we're starting to lose the light. Yeah, there's not much to see out here. So I'm just navigating by map. But if we come across an interesting landform, I'll definitely, you know, just pull up the sails and wait for morning. Maybe even set down my bed and try and sleep, but I'm going to be very careful about that. Either way, like I said, I'll see you guys when there's something to see. Okay, let's wake up here. Oh boy, it's very foggy. I found a tiny little island right off the coast of a new landform where I could literally set up my bed right there. Yeah. And as I said, we've hit pay dirt, so to speak. I haven't taken any samples yet, but yeah, I wanted to explore this in the daylight when I assumed there would be better visibility, but either way, not to worry, not to worry. I also pulled one of the oil lamps out. I've got several of them made in one of these chests, but yeah, figured I'd need something that wouldn't be doused if I accidentally fell in the water with it in my hand, but alright, we can creep very, very slowly without the sails, so let's put it down right about here. Before I even exit, though, I'm going to make sure. I'll just do a black star, and I'll just say B for boat. There we go. All right. Let's get out and look around. I am down one jug. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to start a little campfire somewhere near, maybe right here on the coast. Yeah, boil some water up, but this is definitely a large plot of land, so let's take some samples, look at the stone types that we're working with, and I don't see any wildlife yet, but there's certainly going to be a gazelle. What is this, andesite, granite, boring? No, personally I do like to build with granite, but alright, I'm seeing some exposed rock right there. Let's go take a quick sample at that location. Okay. Oh, I didn't get far enough away. Let's dig in right over here, I think. Go up a little bit more, maybe. I don't know, sometimes it's a little bit tricky, but there we go. Cinnabar, hematite, poor, bismuth. Don't need the bismuth. Cinnabar is next to useless as far as I know. Hematite reading is good to see that. Alright, let's keep looking around. Let's hit up some of these caves and stuff too. Those are usually really good spots to just take a quick sample. And always, always, always got to be ready with the dirt stack in my hand. We've seen one cat, I think, so far in the playthrough, and it was moving really fast, too, when we spotted it. This was, of course, back at our original home base, but man, oh man, I need to be totally prepared and ready to go if we see one. Alright, looks like the cave. Interesting little spot. Yeah, got a waterfall down here. Okay, let's try another sample here and see what we get. 3 of them. Definitely easier when the rock's all exposed like this. Okay. Very poor hematite. Copper's starting to show up, as well as some titanium. That's limonite, or the minuscule one down there. I kind of want to head to this tree. It looks like a small little jungle, right? Just nestled right inside here. Alright, dirt in hand. Let's go. Also, some high fertility soil would be nice. Come across some of that. Seems like an area we might see some. Alright, now we're seeing regular maple and oak here, so I want to be careful for bears and stuff. Yeah, to be honest, I don't really want to go up in there. Is this more white currant? No. oak tree. Soybeans and stuff. Yeah, not too interested in the herbs at this point, or the crops, I should say. No herbs. Let's see what we've got going on. Well, I'll just continue to kind of hike around. Maybe we'll come across something interesting. Limestone would be a big one. If we can find any kind of limestone or surface borax, you know, that's entirely possible. If I do find like some surface borax or even maybe like a high reading, we might camp out for a couple days and locate that seam just to get a stockpile of it, because that could help us eliminate the need for limestone. But honestly, having limestone too in addition to borax is nice. But alright, I'll continue to sample, and like I said, anything interesting, you guys will be the first to know. Oh boy. Well, it's not exactly a threat, although they're definitely not safe to get too close to, but we've got some animals. Man, he's got almost like red eyes. Some big old elephants. They look so perfect out here too, in this environment. This is it. Oh, okay, I was going to say we got some floating trees over there. Yep, still just looking around. Took another sample, nothing special there. But yeah, I had to take a quick snapshot of the elephants. Well, unfortunately I don't see any carcasses around, so we'll just move on. There they go, making their noises. They are really fun, but if we happen to settle down near some, those trumpeting sounds can get a little bit annoying. Alright, I hopped back in the old sailboat here because I was traveling around on foot, and I noticed this river here. That's right, so I was like, oh, we've got to get in the boat and sail up the river. It starts to taper off up here, but it could still be fun. Oh, man, there's fish everywhere too now. They're like spawning in all around. I love it. Oh, what kind of a gravel is this here? Sand. Oh, wait. Look at the current. It's killed our momentum. No. That's tough. I'm at full sails here too. Wow. Yeah, that's going to definitely change things. Unfortunately, we won't be going upstream then. I know that you can go into the config file for the particular rivers mod that I've got and change that value. Wow. You really get sailing though. Yeah, slow it down so it's easier. I don't want to get rid of it altogether though, you know. Okay, that's just a stone out there. It's another odd thing about the rivers. Sometimes you will see the rivers like spawn in the ocean, so to speak. And so you'll see the current, and I assume the water is fresh too, but then you'll even see like those boulders that kind of spawn in the rivers. Well, anyway, okay, here I'm just sailing around aimlessly now, turning into bays, which are dead ends. So let's continue along this southern coast. Yeah, we're just gonna go this way and see what. Hopefully come across something interesting. Not that I'm trying to force it, you know. I want to definitely look around as much as possible. Heck, if it takes us all episode or more, you know, we got to find a good place. That's one thing I always say in an open world sandbox game especially. It's very important to find a place that you really, really like. For whatever reason, maybe it's a waterfall or several waterfalls or who knows, you know, a nice caving system. You really got to find some place you just absolutely fall in love with. That helps to motivate you to keep coming back day after day and stuff. So, like I said, no rush. We're in perfect health. I do need to boil water. Yeah, I've just got a bunch of jugs of dirty water right now. Of course, won't make us sick. It'll just essentially make our food less effective. But looks like the sun is going to set too. This is going to be the second night out here on the water, but it's alright. It's very peaceful. It's warm too, so I don't have to worry about constantly freezing, which is a nice bonus to the travel in the north. Hey, it's morning, everybody. So, I've come across what could be something interesting. I don't think it's limestone, but there's this weird little hilltop right here. Looks like it's half slate and probably granite or something, but just figured we go check it out. Plus, those are giant redwoods over there too, so that could be fun to explore a little giant redwood forest. Make sure we've got the dirt in our hands. These are kapok. I'd love to get some seeds from one of these too. Maybe, oh, you know what? Hold on. Let's just mark the boats. Even if we're not going far. It's roughly there behind me. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I suspect most of the redwoods, like, there won't be little redwood trees like this. I don't know. I assume they'll all be just giant. But look at this monster standing out here all by its lonesome. Oh, this is the vanguard of the redwood forest right here. Okay, let's be careful. Looking pretty quiet. Got some chickens or something over there. Got a little bit of water here. Yeah, I'm just basically drinking this stuff straight up. So let's see. Do we get any? Yeah, we got 4 jugs full of the dirty stuff, but it's alright for now. Just haven't had much desire to settle down and build a fire, really. Look at that, cattails. Wow. It's our first time seeing them in this playthrough. Obviously, we've been using papyrus. Alright, dirt in hand. I see a fruit tree up there in the forest. Let's just go slow. Any movements? We need to investigate. See a couple of rabbits. Also probably want to take a sample too. That looks a little too treacherous to get a sample from, but my copper pro pick did break. But we've got a bronze one too, so unused. What do we got here? Cherry tree, beautiful. Alright, won't harvest it. I really actually like this spot up here in this redwood forest. It's pretty cool. It's got a nice view up here. Granite sand, though. So I wanted to come over to this little spot. What is that? It's just probably just an exposure. It might be a lake or something. I'm not sure. Let's warp over there and find out. Okay. Yeah, slate. Just a little pocket of slate sand here and some granite. Interesting. Well, not to worry, I guess. Yeah, you can see the redwood forest is pretty small, you know, kind of mixes in with the jungle here in the rear, but I don't know, a base location at this spot could be kind of cool. I think we'll continue to look around though. Like I said, there's no rush. Yeah, this would be neat. If it was a little bit closer to the coast, I'd be much more inclined. But, all right, let me see if I can locate the boat. And we'll set sail once again. There it is, dead ahead. Let's go. Wow, this is one of the most mineral diverse areas I think I've ever seen here. But that borax right at the top of the list has me very interested. Let's just take a look. So we're right here on the tip of this little outcropping. I think I'm going to mark the boats. There we go. Yeah, let's go inland a little bit here and take some samples. See if we can't get some borax. Like I said, that'll make our lives so much better. I don't have to stress out so much about limestone then. Again, having a limestone would be great, because when you find like a limestone biome, usually it's so massive that any need you would have is pretty much filled for the rest of the game. So let's just dig in right here. It's not super far from the last position, but that's okay. When we're trying to really zero in on a specific mineral like this, it's not a bad idea to take several, as long as they're not right on top of each other. Alright, here we go. Oop, that's my hands. Let's get these samples. Alright. Boom. Wow. So the borax got even less than it was. Pour. Oops, I always hit escape trying to go to the map. Alright, so in that case, maybe we would want to, like, come to about here, somewhere, like, south of this position. Alternately, it might not be bad to come over here and test that, but, well, while we're still here on the mainland, yeah, let's go to a little bit of a different spot and try it. Alright, here's another sample. Chromite borax dropped off even more, so, yeah, like I said, we came down here. Borax 2.4. This was a cave. Maybe it's not a crazy idea to return to the cave and actually go down in it a little bit. You know, we got really lucky with our tin strike. Well, the second strike we found was kind of just exposed in the wall. So, like I said, maybe we'll get lucky again. I'm also really closely, like, looking at all the stones on the ground, too. There's any surface borax. Alright, I'm going the wrong direction, though. Let's keep the dirt in our hand, going into the thick jungle. But it's going to be a bit of a shortcut to get right to the boat. Just got to be careful. Don't want to bump into any panda bears. For whatever reason, this sand seems like it's especially bright right now, doesn't it? It's weird. Maybe the sun is different here in the tropics. Alright, so I think I'll be able to make it safely to the boat. Just trying to be as careful as possible. That's interesting. Oh, wonder if that's fresh water right there. Nice little natural spring almost is kind of what that appears. But alright, we're going to be fine. Let's see about this cave. Okay, here we go. Yeah, even the sandstone's appearing super bright. Might be the reflection of this fog that I'm seeing. Okay, just changed completely. Oh my god, look at that. Holy crap. Well, I'm glad I followed my instincts. I was just going to comment on the light change, how weird that is, but right there's the cutoff point, like right here. What? Alright, well, oops, I better put this in my offhand. Yeah. Oh, this is huge. Big discovery today here, folks. Yeah, and it seems like this is a pretty decent vein of it. I might even go a bit farther into the cave once I've collected all this. See if there's more exposed. Like I said, limestone definitely comes in abundance, which is good because if we ever really start getting into leather, we'll need this stuff. So, yeah, wow, this is actually a pretty good vein. Alright, either way, I'll collect it all up, show you how much we end up with, and maybe we'll even go deeper, discover some more. Okay, not a bad haul at all. Ended up with 68 borax. Pretty good vein, although the cave itself kind of dead-ended not shortly after that vein, so not much else below ground. Decided to set sail. Still following the coast, but then I noticed this. I don't know what that is. Some sort of weird anomaly? I don't know. Let's... Wait, it's right here. What is that? I don't actually see anything that would indicate what that is. Huh. Oh well. I don't know. Maybe I should investigate it further. Should we dig there? Alright, I'm getting a little seasick here. Let's slow it down. Yeah, God, I really need a hotkey for that so I can manipulate it when I'm in third person, but... what's that on the surface? Okay, that's a fish. Going full speed ahead. This bamboo looks different. It's all green. What's that about? I've never seen bamboo like this. Green bamboo. Huh. Really? So, doesn't appear in the guidebook when I shift H at. I was thinking maybe it was like from a mod, but brown bamboo. No, I never even noticed the different coloration types. It's kind of cool. Alright, either way, doesn't appear that there's anything here. It's really strange. Yeah, just more sandstone. I don't want to use too much of my shovel there, digging up sand fruitlessly. It's almost broken. But, alright. Yeah, if we lose too many of our tools, we'll definitely have to settle down somewhere, at least temporarily, set up a forge operation just to pour some. It's one of the good things, I guess, about currently just being in the Bronze Age. I don't have to worry about like setting down the anvil and hammering out a bunch of tools, because now we can just pour some up. But this is starting to look like an interesting area. It's a bit fewer trees, although it's still nice and open and flat. But then again, oh, we're starting to see a river here. Oh, my boat's trying to travel. Yeah, we won't be able to go up the river. You know what I was thinking, though? Maybe this is a perfect time for the raft. So I can put down anchor like right here in the sailboat, then I'll just walk up. And whenever it's time to return, you know, I could just hop in the raft, throw that down on the river, and use the currents to sail super fast back to the boat. I think that's what I'll do, in fact. Yeah. I would just really want to get out and travel along the river. I'd like to maybe set up our eventual base by one of these rivers, too. They're really cool. Oh, yeah, you can see the current is coming right out here into the ocean for sure. It's kind of hard to see it, maybe, but it's there. This rain and fog does make things a bit annoying, but alright, either way, yeah, this will be a good spot to explore. So, first person, unfurl, boom, and hop out. Of course, we got to remember to mark it. Boom, 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 B, save it. Alright, perfect, yeah. Oh, this is an interesting one. Really thin right here. Well, we're definitely going to travel it. Like I say, if I've got my raft on me, we should be good. Let me empty out a few things. Appears like I'm pretty full. Yeah, I shouldn't be carrying around that. We've got just a few, like, odds and ends to drop offs, but I won't make you guys suffer through the inventory management. In fact, I think this is probably a good place to end today's episode. We've had some exciting discoveries with the elephants and the boroks, and you know, maybe we'll come across a place that we like in the next one. But again, I'm not trying to rush it, so I do hope you guys are enjoying the exploration episodes. Hit that like button. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys, and as always, I will see you all on the next one.